It's a warm one. It's so hot in this garage. It's unreal. Check out the Autan peanut head. This is what happens to a Chinaman who sits in the sun too much. It looks like a dry roasted peanut. Welcome to my midweek Chinese takeaway cook along, where tonight I'm going to show you how to make a Chinese takeaway style curry from scratch. Over to my left is the Chinese takeaway cookbook where the recipe's in there. I'll run through the ingredients in a minute, but it's dead simple. And if you make some notes as we're going through, you'll have this and you can make it whenever you need to then, especially with a lot of the takeaways now closing. If you were with me last week with the chow mein, we velveted the prawns, so we're going to do exactly the same thing today. In this bowl, if you can see, I've just mixed it all together now, I have some raw king prawns. Now if you're using chicken, beef, pork, any meat that you want actually, just stick it in the bowl now. Make sure it's dry but raw. In there's about a teaspoon of corn flour. To that I'm going to add about half a tablespoon of soy sauce and about a teaspoon of sesame oil. So I'm just going to mix that soy sauce, sesame oil and corn flour together to help tenderize the meat. In a Chinese takeaway you'll find that the meat is silky and it's smooth. And the reason being is they do a very similar technique to this. Now some Chinese takeaways use egg whites, others just use the corn flour, soy sauce and sesame oil, and you could use oyster sauce as well. Now in the bowl you'll see that everything is incorporated. If you've still got a puddle of liquid at the bottom, keep on massaging until the meat has absorbed all that liquid and the corn flour is doing its job, okay? To make the basic curry sauce, regardless of what we're going to put in it afterwards, we are going to need some beef, chicken or vegetable stock, and I've got 600 ml. I've got a tablespoon of plain flour. I have 1 bay leaf, so go and grab yourself a bay leaf. Some curry powder, some garam masala, very Indian, but again this is Indo-Asian even, or Indo-Chinese food. We have 2 onions, 2 carrots, 5 cloves of garlic, some honey, just normal runny honey, and lastly 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. Now because I'm going to be sieving the vegetables off after we've made the curry, you don't need to take the skins off or anything else, okay? So I'm just going to really roughly chop these. Now with your garlic, if you've got a big knife like this one, just bruise it and we're just going to crush that. That's all you need to do. So there's the 5 garlic cloves crushed. I'm going to chop my onion quite fine-ish. I'll leave the root on to make it easy. I'm just cutting the onion into down the middle for strips, and I just chop it into cubes then. And then the end piece, I just chop that into cubes as well. I'll push that to one side. I'll do exactly the same on this one. Okay, so there's my onion chopped, my garlic crushed. Same thing with the carrots, okay? I'm just going to make it easy. I'm just going to chop it in half again, and in half again. And I'm just going to roughly chop my carrots into pieces. This is all going to get sieved off at the end. You can eat it in the Chinese takeaways and restaurants. People say, well, why do you sieve it off and don't use it? When we used to make this in the restaurant, we used to do a massive vat. And then we get as far as the flour stage, which you'll see, and then we would stop. Okay, and then obviously when we needed the paste, we would then add the paste into the wok, add your stock, and we get curry sauce. Obviously we're going to go straight through and make the curry sauce, but we always sieved off the vegetables that were in there. That's why I sieve it off, because I was taught in my dad's restaurant and takeaways, and this is what we did. Over to my wok. I'm just going to get my wok on. We need to cook the garlic and onion for about 10 minutes before we do anything else. So we just need to soften those, and obviously what we're trying to do is caramelise them and get the natural sugars out of both of them. But I'm going to add about tablespoon and a half of oil, and to that I'm going to add my crushed garlic. All 5 cloves have gone in, and my 2 diced onions with skins as well. Now we need to do a bit of temperature control on this. We don't want it to burn, but we want it to caramelise. There is a difference, believe it or not. And we'll just give that a bit of a mix and make sure that all of it is coated in a little bit of that oil. And then we're just going to cook this down for about 10 minutes. Now, if you can see in there now, it's just starting to caramelise, if you can see that. So I'm going to give that another 5 minutes before I do anything else. There's lots of heat in this wok. I'm going to whack my carrots in now, because that's going to save us about 8 or 9 minutes, all right? So in go your chopped carrots. And we'll give that a good stir down. And again, we're just going to cook the carrots out for about another 6 or 7 minutes just to soften. If you're cooking at home and your onions are colouring a little bit too quickly and burning, turn the heat down. Okay, so you can see now that my onions and garlic have softened, my carrots are now softening, there's some good colour in there. I'm going to turn the heat down just for a second. I'm going to add my 4 teaspoons of curry powder. Now you can use any curry powder. Literally picked this up in Sainsbury's the other day because I'd run out. It's just a mild curry powder. If you like it hot, obviously use a hot curry powder. In go the curry powder. 2 tablespoons of plain flour with 4 teaspoons of curry powder. And I'm just going to mix that in. And I'm just going to cook the flour out and the curry powder for about 2 or 3 minutes before adding the stock and the rest of the ingredients. Okay, now the flour and curry powder is well incorporated. I've got 600 ml of stock. I think this is chicken stock that I use, but you can use vegetable stock or any other stock that you want to. That's going to go straight in and give it a good mix. Now the stock's gone in, I'm going to add in a bay leaf. In that goes. 4 teaspoons of light soy sauce. This is the light, so for the seasoning. In that goes. And lastly, 2 teaspoons of honey. So I'm going to add 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons. Again, if you like your curry slightly sweeter, add a little bit more honey. Also as well, if you're cooking this at home and you like a hot curry, put some fresh chilli or dried chilies in it. So that needs to come up to the boil now, and then I'm going to turn it down to simmer, and I'm just going to cook out all of this until it becomes like a nice thick sauce. Depending on what we're going to be putting into the filling, depends on what we're going to be chopping. So in my curry, in all Chinese takeaways, you'll find onion. In your curry, you'll find a few mushrooms, so that's going in, and some peas. Okay. Obviously, I have my king prawns, which are nice marinating away now. So, I'm going to take the top off my onion and chop it in half. I'll place that to one side. I'm then going to peel just that brown bit off, because I don't want it to be too chewy. Turn my curry down, so it's just blipping away now. So it's come up to the boil. And I just need it to cook down now for about 10 minutes. I'm going to do cubes. So I'm going to chop it. I've chopped it twice down to the roots, and I'm going to create, I don't know, what, 2 centimetre cubes, I guess they are. Mushrooms, I'm just going to chop in half. My curry is nice and thick, and I'd say it's reduced by 1/3 easily. For the last 2 minutes, we need to add our garam masala. So I have 2 teaspoons of garam masala, and I'm just going to add the garam masala. I'm going to mix that in. And literally a minute, that's all it needs. Just mix that through, because that just offers that flavour. Okay, garam masala in for the last minute, has finished now, reduced by 1/3, and again, put it to one side, we're finished with that. Okay, get your new wok on or saucepan, and let's get the heat up. My wok is getting warm, I'm going to add my onions. I'm going to get my spoon out my curry sauce, and I'm going to soften my my onions. Now, if you're cooking chicken, pork or beef that needs a little bit longer, you can get that in now. Once you've got it in, try not to stir it. Let the heat come up and let it seal. Okay, my onions are softening. I'm now going to add my king prawns. You can see they're nice and sticky and sticking to the bottom of the bowl now. I'm going to get these in, and I'm just going to let them seal for a minute on the bottom of the pan. Okay, some mushrooms, in they go. Now my prawns are going nice and pink. I'm just going to try and flip them evenly now, so both sides are caramelised and pink. Okay, so Prawns are nearly cooked, mushrooms are now softening. So what I need you to do now is get your sieve. Now this really is a two-hand job, well, a two-man job. But you get the idea. I'm now going to pour my sauce through my sieve. Making a bit of a mess, as you do. And I'm just going to strain this through my sieve. If you're using a standard sieve, a home sieve, this will take a little bit longer. But with one of these, it goes through pretty quick. Now, you can keep and eat that. There's nothing wrong with it. Obviously, you've left the skin on the garlic, so if you were going to do that, you could have maybe taken the skin off the garlic. Take the bay leaf out. Obviously, I don't think you can crunch on that really. And we'll just put that to one side. I'm now going to add my peas. And I'll pop that to one side. And I'm going to give everything a stir. I'll just let that come back up to the boil. And we're done. So I'm going to take my spoon. I've got a nice serving spoon here. I'm going to take my king prawn and mushroom and onion and peas. And there we have it. My Chinese takeaway style curry from scratch, king prawns in mine. I hope you enjoy it. Eat it with your fried rice or boiled rice or even some chips, which might be quite nice tonight. So I might be going and getting some oven chips out the freezer and I'll be having king prawn curry, chips and fried rice. Enjoy your dinner, guys. Stay home, stay safe. Unfortunately, COVID's had another nearly 1,000 people over the last 24 hours. It is imperative that we try and listen to government guidelines, stay at home, and let's not help this get any worse than what it's already become. I know it's all driving us crazy by staying at home, but be well, see you soon, and I've got to come over and switch off now. See you later, bye bye.